Hi everyone, it is Atia here at Book a Day with Atia, and today we have a book haul. I'm here to talk about all of the book mail that I received during the month of May. Big shout out and thank you to the publishers and authors for sending me all of these goodies that I'm about to talk about. I didn't even do a count of how many books I received in May. It was a lot. This is a very heavy book for book mail, and this is a heavy month for book mail, and I am, as always, eternally grateful and also super excited to talk to you about these books and read them in the near or far future. Before we get started, I do want to encourage you to check out my bonfire as well as my Etsy shop to get yourself some merch as well as some bookmarks. And if you'd like to support the channel on a monthly basis, you might want to consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon member. I like to do this by publisher. It just makes it easier. And so I've kind of arranged it like that. And we're gonna go through and we're really gonna try and just jump right in. And we're gonna start with some books from Penguin Random House. Several of their imprints, but yeah, these are from Penguin Random House, and now I have to like figure out how to, I guess I can close that, figure out how to put these books where they don't all topple out. But the first one we have is a memoir, and this is Defying China by Tsultrim Dolma and Rebecca Wei Hsieh. And it says a Tibetan girl fights back. And this is the memoir, an incredible true story of a teen nun who became an activist for the Tibetan independence movement. And it says, in this powerful memoir, Tsultrim tells the story of her life, the events leading to her arrest, and what happened after, when she became a political refugee and asylum seeker. Through her journey, she finds the power in speaking up, unwavering in her call against injustice and occupation, and for her beloved country's liberation. So, super excited about this one. Also, I find the cover to just be really cool. Then we have The Oks Are Not OK by Cay Kim. This is about a family who, well, about the two kids and a family who was previously like super rich. Something happens that's unexpected and they have to go to like this podunk backwaters town and try and make it. And the girl figures out that she's like really good at organizing events and things like that. It reminds me a lot of Schitt's Creek, and I'm so certain that this is like based on Schitt's Creek. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one and seeing if there's like little whispers of Schitt's Creek references in it, which would be pretty cool. Next up, we have Every Story is a Love Story by Imbolo and Mbue. This is by the author of Behold the Dreamers. And this one says, 3 years ago, Wolo's pregnant wife was killed in a tragic car accident. In an instant, the great love of his life was gone, and so was their beautiful future, the twins they were expecting, the PhD she was on the cusp of finishing, and the house they just bought in New Jersey. In the face of a loss that seemed insurmountable, Wolo has slowly rebuilt a semblance of a life. He goes to work, hangs out with a small circle of friends, and fends off the matchmaking efforts of the older women in his family. The grief that dogged him has, with time, become a little gentler, until a letter arrives one day, unbidden, threatening to upend his life once again. It is from Victoria, the woman who was behind the wheel that terrible day. Wolo's mother's pastor tells him the letter is the work of the devil. His mother expressly forbids him from making further mention of it. His father's second wife calls from Cameroon to tell him to destroy it. But Wolo ponders it for days and ultimately agrees to meet with the woman who killed his wife. When he does, the compassionate and deep remorse of the woman affects him in ways he had never imagined, and he begins to wonder if the long road to healing can be shared. This is gonna be one of those that just like takes your heart out and just like eats it, which is a very vivid and gruesome imagery, but whatever. Then we have The Other Country by Davin Malasarn, and this one says, this tender, elegant debut examines the struggle of holding a family together when secrets threaten to unravel it. Sisters Manda and Sirapon have been divided by continents for years, estranged since their parents decided to send just one of their daughters from Petbury to America, the foreign land they call the outer country. Oh, that's what it's called? I said other. That definitely says outer. The birth of Sirapon's son brings the sisters back together. Despite the disorientation of Los Angeles and the difficulty of sharing her sister's home, Manda becomes a second mother to Ben, a precocious only child who fills her with fierce joy. But as Ben grows increasingly effeminate, her joy transforms to fear. Believing that the spirit of a dead girl has possessed her beloved nephew, and that her sister won't do anything to fix matters, Manda and Ben's father, Cameron, secretly arrange a Buddhist exorcism. The ceremony sets off a decade of anxiety-induced illness and bullying, even as the ritual burrows beyond Ben's memory. For Ben to grow into his authentic self, he must accept his queerness and confront the scars of his past. He attempts to navigate his family's tense relationships and live amidst the damage. But how long can they all go on before the truths are uncovered? Whoa. Well then, that synopsis was just a very wild journey. And thank you to Penguin Random House for those 4 titles. Next up, we have a book from Riverhead Books. This is The Future Perfect by Cay Kim, a radiant portrait of a young woman caught between cultures and what is lost and found in the struggle to succeed. Before you are anything, you are a daughter. At first, you are at home inside your pregnant mother, a beloved daughter, a vision of the future, but who will you become? As your family moves back and forth between Korea and the United States, you find yourself caught between 2 countries. Prioritizing your future over her own happiness, your mother marshals you through a childhood of homework and violin practice and academic achievement to shape you into the person she most wants you to be. Is hers the ultimate form of love? And despite her sacrifices, is there a world somewhere between your motherland and homeland that can feel like your own? Told in incandescent prose, Cay Kim's exquisite debut novel is a portrait of a brilliant young woman growing up between cultures and a love letter to girlhood, family, and the great dreams we hold for ourselves, no matter where we're from. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And also, like, this is a very interesting cover. It's like a painting, and that's why this is writ, kind of, I'm guessing. Also, is this told in second? Yeah, this is told in the second person. Whoa. Okay, that's doubly cool. And once again, thank you to Riverhead Books. Next up, we have some goodies from Candlewick Press. The first one being a picture book called The Most Magnificent Me. This is by Chitra Sondar, illustrated by Sophie Bass. When you're anything you want to be, and I am the most magnificent me, together we will be us, just the way we are, just fabulous. Oh, that's so cute. A rousing picture book celebrating our differences and allowing everyone a voice. I love that. It also just looks really fun. Then we have In the Country I Love by Alaa El-Barkawi. As a 17-year-old single dad and a soon-to-be high school dropout, Yasser Al-Awazi's lapsed Hsieh faith is just another thing convincing his parents he's a failure. One more mistake and they'll send him back to their homeland, a war-torn Iraq. Khaled Al-Hakim is perfect on paper, devout in his faith, a straight-A student, and captain of the debate team. But beneath the surface, Khaled is no saint either, and his worst sin yet is ignoring his parents' command to stay far away from Yasser. When their forbidden friendship is exposed, family secrets from both sides must come to light, and neither Yasser nor Khaled are prepared to learn the stains that taint their family names. Okay, that's super and incredibly ominous, but all right, we'll go with it. Then we have The Game of Oats by S.C. Bandreddi. It says 12 will compete, 1 will survive. I think this has something like to do with the circus. Yeah, the city glitters, but not for us. It's 1896. Trapeze artist Falan Sankara is a performer at El Cirque des Ombres, a magical circus that has taken Paris by storm. But behind the glamorous spectacle lies a sinister truth. Members of Le Cirque are bound to his cruel ringmaster by enchanted contracts. For 1 week each year, the shimmering circus hosts the Game of Oaths, a bloody tournament meant to entertain the city's elite. 12 performers are selected to compete. Only 1 will survive and win their freedom. Last year, Fallon's sister was one of the unlucky 11. This year, Fallon is out for revenge. I love a good revenge story, and I love it when it's paired with feminine rage. We gotta love it. And thank you to Candlewick Press for those 3. Next up, we have 2 goodies from Tor Nightfire. The first one being A Plagued Sea by Kim Bo-young and translated by Sophie Bowman. First the flood, next the sickness, last the change. Visionary Korean author Kim Bo-young unleashes a Lovecraftian nightmare of infection, transformation, and abomination. What? I don't even want to read the full synopsis. Oh, wait, is that the synopsis? Wait, what? Oh, okay. I was about to say, that's very bold. While waiting for a train to Haiwan, an isolated Korean seaside village, bodyguard Moo Young gets a disaster alert on her phone. Moments later, TVs throughout the station report breaking news of a massive earthquake on the eastern coast. Despite the danger, Moo Young boards the train with her niece. Better to face the quake than leave the girl in her mother's hands. It's a choice that will haunt her for the rest of her life. 3 years later, Haiwan Village is home to horrors. The earthquake awakened an ancient plague that transforms its victims into monsters. I'm gonna stop there because what? Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. Then we have Rooted by Leopoldo Gout. And this is actually, pretty sure did this already come out and we're getting the paperback version now? Oh, lies. No, this didn't come out already. This is coming out in September. But it says, a blood reckoning where one woman's return to Mexico City digs away the layers of her forgotten past and the Aztec gods she awakened. What? There's nothing wrong with Aurora. A successful art lawyer, she has returned to Mexico to celebrate a recent campaign for the repatriation of stolen artifacts, in particular, a mysterious statue of an Aztec god, the Flayed One. But Mexico City isn't as she remembered. Nothing is. Elements of her past hint at darkness and power, and reality begins to crack and warp the streets. There's nothing wrong with Aurora. As Aurora's sanity unravels, she must pry apart her family secrets and accept the simplest of truths. The Flayed One cannot stay buried. Okay. Also, this cover is just like really cool. All right, okay. And those are the 2 that I got from Tor Nightfire. Next up, we have some from Simon Pauls. And this is Night of Madness by Ryan Douglas. Can they survive the night? Mara knows how fear works. The daughter of a horror movie fanatic, she spent her life watching characters survive blood-soaked nightmares. But watching terror and living it are 2 different things. When washed-up horror movie director Jack Stanley announces a televised competition inside an abandoned asylum, it's clear he intends to make a comeback. Mara doesn't expect to be chosen. She isn't famous. She just needs the money and maybe prove she's meant for more than the dull job slowly grinding her down. 5 influencers into the asylum. By morning, one of them will win $100,000. Each contestant is given a panic button. Press it and you're out. Mara tells herself she'll never touch it, but once the doors close, she quickly realizes the scares aren't staged. And the man running the show seems far more interested in toying with her than entertaining the millions tuning in to see blood. As the night wears on, Mara and the others are forced to confront what they're willing to sacrifice to survive. Inside Jack's game, the asylum doesn't care who deserves to live, only who refuses to quit. What? And this is by the same author as The Taking of Jake Livingston, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So I'm excited to get another horror from this author. And then we have The Beckett Effect by Nashae Jones. This one is, I think he's like the son of a famous person. Girls love Beckett because of his famous dad, and Beckett revels in the unearned attention. It seems like everyone except Ren is susceptible to the Beckett effect, the phenomenon that makes people, most of all teen girls, fall for him despite his glaring red flags. Unfortunately for Ren, her sister Kennedy is vulnerable to Beckett's charms, and she has a huge, misguided crush on him. When Beckett humiliates Kennedy at a party in front of the entire school, Ren swears to bring him down once and for all. And what better way to expose him than by using her passion for filmmaking to create a documentary showing just how terrible he really is. But as Ren cozies up to Beckett to get hopefully damning inside information, Ren starts to wonder if the line between love and hate is as clear as she thought. Okay, all right. And thank you to Simon Pauls for those two. Then we have 2 books from Bramble, which is also part of Tor. The first one being Daughter of the Dark by R.J. Vallderperas. And this is the first book in Daughters of Aquis. Let's see. And it is an adult romantasy debut. Supay lives under a curse of eternal death. For the greed of their god, the people are damned to live as human and then again as Mookie. For Solana, survival means staying sharp and staying alone. Armed with only a blood-forged dagger, she's carved out a life as Supay's fiercest slayer, freeing souls even as she's trapped by duty. But when a twist of fate offers her the title of Royal Demon Hunter, Solana finally finds a path to the freedom she's always craved. But it draws her closer to the darkness threatening Supay. Darkness that calls to her soul alone. Torn between turning her back on a fight she never asked for and the pull of loyalties old and new, including an irresistible connection to a man who should be her enemy, Solana must decide. Choose fate and freedom or death, destruction, and revolution. Okay, all right. And look at, I mean, that cover is just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Then we have a romance, a contemporary romance, and this is How to Find a Guy in 5 Weddings by Cynthia Timoti. One cynic, one matchmaker, 5 chances to win her heart. Kimiko Halim thinks happy endings only exist in fairy tales, but her late grandmother's will specifies settling down as a condition to inherit her yarn store, and the family's legacy is the only thing that matters. Kim's plan is simple. Find a guy, date him until the store is hers, then gently uncouple from the poor, unsuspecting victim. But the clock is ticking, and her dates have been more frogs than princes. When Rob Carmichael, a perpetual groomsman and self-proclaimed proponent of happily ever afters, overhears Kim's cynical view of love, he's baffled. Having been surrounded by happy relationships all his life, Rob convinces her that he can find her a soulmate in one of the next 5 weddings he's going to. What can possibly go wrong? I love a grumpy sunshine. I really do. And I love it even more when the grump is a woman. So yeah. And once again, thank you to Bramble for these. Then we have 2 from Legacy Lit. The first one being Malcolm in the Desert, Wisdom from the Spiritual Transformation of Malcolm X by Ilyasah Shabazz, who is his daughter. And this one actually is cool because it came with a journal too, a matching journal, which I'm super excited about. And this one is kind of like a self-help, almost a little bit. I'll just read the synopsis so you see what I mean by that. Yeah, powerful self-transformation practices inspired by Malcolm X's final years. When Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam and set out on a pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964, he did more than cross geographic borders. He transformed his vision of faith, justice, and freedom. In Malcolm in the Desert, Ilyasah Shabazz invites us to walk beside him on that journey of spiritual transformation, reframing pilgrimage as a modern practice. In retracing his steps, she helps us see how the work of changing the world so often begins within. A daughter's offering to her father's legacy, Malcolm in the Desert reveals the human heart of a legend. Shabazz extracts keen lessons about the value of slowing down, listening deeply, and remembering who we truly are. She calls us to respond to crisis with courage, to meet grief with love, to rediscover faith as a creative force for change, and to dream in more revolutionary colors. These pages paint a new picture of Malcolm X through compassionate prose and galvanizing historical insight that shine alongside Jungian, Buddhist, and Islamic principles and wisdom from leading poets and scholars. Shabazz ties it all together with simple practices to help us answer 3 central questions. Who are you? What do you care about? What is yours to do? So yeah, I'm excited to get to this one, hopefully sometime this year. I think I'm gonna have to rework my nonfiction TBR that I posted at the beginning of the year or late last year, because some nonfiction has definitely come into my library and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to redo these. But yeah, that is Malcolm in the Desert. I guess I should be telling you when these arcs come out. We're like halfway done and I just have not been doing that. Oh well. Next up from Legacy Lit, we have Love Me, a letter to Black women in a toxic country, career, and relationship by Tiffany D. Cross. In searing dispatches, Love Me is a timely affirmation for Black women in a world that had undervalued them for centuries. Will we ever get back the love we give? That's what millions of Black women are asking. Whether it's the men in our lives, our experiences in our workplaces, or America itself, the country we built, we are fighting for the consideration, kindness, and respect we are due. Black women are being silenced. Our history is being whitewashed and our contributions downplayed. Efforts persist to reduce our existence entirely. We are fighting for love, our lives, and livelihood, while a burning America continues to stand on our shoulders as it has throughout time. In Love Me, Cross brings to life the souls of Black women today. In the face of a failing democracy, dwindling opportunity, and elusive love, she tells the story of how we, women of accomplishment and endurance, relentlessly use our humanity to preserve ourselves, our culture, and civilization. Bold and provocative, Cross invites Black women to go from hopeless to hopeful as we fight to achieve our dreams, secure the love we deserve, and preserve the home we built. She argues that we must repair our personhood in society, and that starts with giving ourselves something to believe in. Cross takes us on an intimate journey through the internal and external battles we face, illuminating community and critiquing the politics of being a Black woman today. With a blend of humor, pathos, and hard-hitting cultural analysis, Cross tackles issues like race, relationships, sex, family, economics, health, labor, and love. By bringing Black women to the forefront, she honors not just her story, but our story. Another one where I'm just gonna have to like bump some of the nonfiction on my TBR for this year out the way or try to fit them in somehow, some way. But once again, thank you to Legacy Lit. Then we have 2 books from Scribner. The first one being Uprising by Tahmima Anam. This is the same author as A Golden Age and The Startup Wife, an urgent, indelible portrait of women's lives told from the collective voice of their children. Any moment now, we would grow up and we would become them, waking late and hungry and with a job that had no name. On a desolate, sinking island off the coast of Bangladesh, a group of children witnessed their mothers endure cruelty and servitude, bought and sold by Amma, the merciless madam. The women have mostly accepted their fates. Yet their children imagine that they will someday escape the island, weaving fantastic tales of lives of freedom. When Kusum Khan, a young, educated woman from the city, is brought to the island, she too is subjected to Amma's violent induction. Yet Kusum refuses to yield, and the children come to believe she has mythic powers. Soon, the women's compliance is transformed into ferocity. Their defiant rebellion will upend the island in the very order of things. A blazing drama of resistance and female power by an author who deftly weaves the personal and the political. Uprising gives voice to the silence through the story of a revolution no one saw coming. And that is Uprising by Tahmima Anam. Then we have one that I'm super excited about and hopefully we'll read during the month of June, and that is They All Fall in Love at the End by Haili Blassingame. Look at that. It's the fall of 2024, and 24-year-old Kat St. Clair isn't asking for too much. All she wants is 3 boyfriends, to write her little novels, and to survive another chaotic presidential election. She's in an open relationship with her college sweetheart, Jay, but non-monogamy isn't just a hot trend she's trying. It's her sliver of freedom in a world eager to wrestle it from her for being a Black woman going after what she wants with reckless abandon. While political tensions rule the campus where Kat is slowly earning her creative writing degree, she finds herself drawn to Jay's best friend, Tristan, who's smart, super hot, and in a monogamous relationship. And then she meets Tristan's girlfriend, Nia, a captivating art student with her own gravitational pull. Friends and family urge her to just be happy with Jay, but Kat is determined to have it all, or blow up her life trying. As she falls for all the wrong people, racking up lies, betrayals, and terrible drafts of her novel, she tries to write her way to a happy ending. But in art, politics, and love, true liberation may take more than rewriting the old scripts. It may mean inventing something entirely new. And that is They All Fall in Love at the End. Next up, we have several books from Simon Kids. They asked me if I wanted a box celebrating Asian American, Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander month. And I was like, of course. So this is a amalgamation of kids books, including early readers, middle grade, and picture books, which I'm super excited about. And so yeah, we're just gonna jump right in. The first one we have is Ramen for Everyone, and I was so excited when I got this because I read this 2 years ago, 3 years. I got it from the library, I read it, and I absolutely loved it, and I always wanted to add it to my collection. So I'm like over the moon that I now have this copy. And it says, Hiro loves ramen. Every Sunday, Hiro's dad makes delicious, perfect ramen for dinner using a recipe passed down from his dad. There's moray seaweed, briny like the ocean, nitamago egg, the yolk golden like the sun, and chachu pork so tender it melts in your mouth. Yum. Hiro's dream is to make his own perfect bowl, and he's sure he can do it after watching his dad and taking note. But when he gets started, things don't go according to plan. The seaweed crumbles, the egg slips through his fingers, the pork falls apart. Hiro is worried he'll never be a real ramen chef, but thanks to his father's wise advice and his own creativity, Hiro discovers that every person's perfect bowl of ramen is unique. Ah! And then also, I love the artwork of this one as well. It's just so fun. Then we have another one, which I read around the same time I read that one, and also wanted to add to my collection, and that is Amy Wu and the Perfect Bao by Kate Zhang, illustrated by Charlene Chua. It's funny because these are similar in concept, where you have a kid who has watched their family or like a member of their family make a traditional meal and they want to do it and then they mess it up. Amy loves to make bao with her family, but it takes skill to make the bao taste and look delicious, and her bao keep coming out all wrong. Then she has an idea that may give her a second chance. Will Amy ever make the perfect bao? So yeah, very similar in theme, but this is what the artwork looks like. Then we have Himalayan Nights, which has beautiful, stunning artwork. Good night, Himalayas. The sun begins to set over the mountain crest. Let's go explore some sights before it's time to rest. From the highest snow-capped peaks to the lowest simmering lakes and all the amazing places in between, come explore the wondrous sights of the Himalayan mountains and a new bedtime book from best-selling authors Kabir and Suretha Sehgal. Look at that. Just so vivid and beautiful. Let's see if I can show you another page. Here we go. And bright. The next picture book we have is Layla in Saffron. Sometimes I'm not sure if I like being me. When Layla looks in the mirror, she doesn't know if she likes what she sees. But when her grandmother tells her that the saffron color of her scarf suits her, she feels a tiny bit better. So Layla spends the rest of their family dinner night on the lookout for other parts of herself she likes. Follow Layla's journey as she uses her senses of sight, smell, taste, and touch to seek out the characteristics that make up her unique identity and find reasons to feel proud of herself just as she is. That is beautiful. And this feels like a picture book that I would have read as like an actual kid. With the artwork. The artwork feels very nostalgic and familiar to me. The next one we have is Mother Goose Goes to India, and this one's really cool because it is an interpretation of classic nursery rhymes. So it says, Mother Goose has landed in India. Join her and a flock of lively friends for an unforgettable Indian twist on 15 classic nursery rhymes. You'll find Jai Be Nimble, Garam Cross Buns, This Little Sore, and many more, each peppered with Hindi words, fanciful settings, and so many details just waiting to be discovered. Look at that. And this one is... Why did I do it backwards? What does that say? Tunga Bridge is falling down. Like London Bridge is falling down. And then we have Jai and Jill, like Jack and Jill. Oh, there we go, Jai and Jill. So yeah, Super excited for that one. Another audiobook we have is Love Makes a Garden Grow by Taeyun Yu. Blooms, bugs, soil. A little girl and her grandfather bond over a beautiful garden. But like a garden, life is full of growth and change. When grandfather must move to an apartment and the girl moves far away, it is their love of flowers that connects them. Oh, also another one where I just really enjoyed the illustration and it felt very nostalgic. The last picture book we have here is Outside Mom, Inside Mom. Outside Mom wears plain, practical clothes. Inside Mom loves her sparkly shirt. Outside Mom is quiet and likes to listen. Inside Mom is full of stories and jokes. But does Inside Mom ever go outside? This gentle lyrical story is an ode to code switching and a love letter to the communities that create warm, comfortable spaces for everyone to be their fullest selves. I love like the dichotomy of it that's shown in the artwork between Outside and Inside Mom. Then we have some early readers. The first one being Ruby Liu, star of the show, by Lenore Look, illustrated by Steph Choi. What's the best thing about being in third grade? Everything. Ruby can't decide what she likes best, playing the recorder, learning cursive, or writing haiku. And that's only the beginning. But third grade also means a scary change when Ruby's father loses his job. When her mom goes to work and her dad stays home full time, Ruby, Flying Duck, and Oscar have to adjust to their dad's new and unusual way of doing things around the house. And then there's the trouble with money. It's tighter than ever. Ruby is determined to change their fortune with a little ingenuity and spunk. Surely there's a way for her to make $1 million fast. As Ruby is about to discover, making money isn't easy, but having everyone together on 20th Avenue South is priceless. Oh, it's a series. What number in the series is this? Because there's 2 more on the back here. Is this number 3? Oh no. Oh wait, maybe. Yeah, I think so. Because I only see 3. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Then we have Zara's Rules for Record-Breaking Fun by Hannah Khan. This is the same author of Amina's Voice. Meet Zara Salim, the queen of the neighborhood. Zara is in charge of it all. She organizes the games, picks the team, and makes sure everyone has a good time, and they always do. When a new family moves in across the street, suddenly Zara's reign is threatened by Naomi, who has big ideas of her own about how the neighborhood kids can have fun. To get everyone to notice her again, Zara decides she's going to break a Guinness World Record if her little brother, Zaid, doesn't mess things up. But when she finds herself increasingly alone in her record-breaking quest, Zara starts to wonder if sharing the crown and making a new friend might end up being the best rule of all. Okay. Also, I love this cover. So just like, it's simple, but it's still fun. It also reminds me of Junie B. Jones from when I was a kid. Then we have Geraldine Pooh and Her Lunchbox 2, written and illustrated by Maggie P. Chang. Is this a series as well? Or not? And this is actually a graphic novel. Oh, that's cute. It even has a like instructions on how to read the graphic novel. So it says, Geraldine Pooh's favorite part of school is lunch. She loves her lunchbox, which she calls Biandang. She also loves the food her grandmother, Amma, packs inside. Then a boy at school makes fun of her lunch. What will Geraldine do? So we have this one, Geraldine Pooh and Her Lunchbox 2. And 2 middle grade books, one of which I've actually already read, and that is Finally Heard by Kelly Yang. This is the second one in the Finally Seen series, which I most definitely recommend. When 10-year-old Lena Gao sees her mom's video take off on social media, she's captivated by the potential to be seen and heard. Maybe online she could finally find the confidence she craves, whereas in real life she's growing so fast she feels like microwave popcorn bursting out of her skin. With the help of her 2 best friends, Carla and Finn, and her little sister Millie, Lena sets off to go viral. Except there's a lot more to social media than Lena ever imagined. Like, 1, seeing inside her classmates' lives. Is she really the only person on the planet who doesn't have a walk-in closet? 2, group chats, disappearing videos. What is everyone talking about in the secret chats, and how can she join? 3, a bazillion stories about what to eat, wear, and put on her face. Could they all be telling the truth? Everyone sounds so sure of what they're saying. As Lena descends deeper and deeper into social media, it will take all of her strength to break free from the likes and find the courage to be her authentic self in this fast-paced world. highly recommend all of Kelly Yang's books. Truly do. I do plan on collecting them. And this is the second one of hers that I have. Then we have The Cobra's Song by Supriya Kelkar, author of American as Paneer Pie. 10-year-old Gitanjali doesn't mind singing, but she knows she'll never be as good as her mother, Ai, and her grandmother, Aji, famous classical singers from India whose celebrity has followed the family all the way to their small town of Deadwood, Michigan, where Gitanjali lives with her Ai and her father, Baba. After freezing on stage during a concert performance with her Ai, Gitanjali adds fear of singing to her list of fears, a list that seems to be growing daily. Ai tries to stress the importance of using one's voice and continuing to sing. Gitanjali hopes that when her Aji comes to visit this summer, she'll be able to help her. But when they pick Aji up at the airport, she's not alone. Lata, an auntie Gitanjali has never met before, is with Aji and their neighbor, Hina auntie, who is acting strange and mean and not like the warm auntie she normally is. Lata auntie has heard all about Gitanjali's family while growing up in India. She knows Ai and Aji are the only ones who can sing Ra'ag Nag Shakti. Ai plays it off, but Gitanjali thinks back to the rang starting with N that had been torn out of Ai's binder. She has never heard of Rag Nag Shakti, which sounds like it is about the power of cobras. Gitanjali is determined not to let her imagination get the best of her and add aunties to her list of fears, but she can't help but wonder about the connection between the missing Ra'ag, Hina auntie's cold behavior, and their interesting summer visitor. And that is The Cobra's Song. Then the last book we have actually isn't from Simon Kids. It was supposed to be with the Candlewick books, but it got mixed in. And that is One Mad Cat in the Missing Book by Vicky Fang. And I just... this just makes me so happy for no reason in particular. I mean, there's a cat and it's a mad cat. But it makes me laugh, so that's great. Meet Cat. Cat is mad. What makes Cat mad? So many things. She's a cat after all, screaming, like dust, noise, parties, and sneezes. The only thing Cat likes are snacks, naps, and puzzles. Oh, and her friends. So when her friend Hedgehog can't find his missing book, Cat is happy to help. Oh, I love that. And I love that Cat is... Cat is what I call a creamsicle. Because she's orange and white. So yeah, thank you to Candlewick Press for that. And yeah, that is it. I don't even know how many books that is. I guess I could count now, right? 31 books were in this haul. Big shout out to the publishers once again for sending these beauties. I'm excited and giddy, as you can probably tell from the smile on my face, for meeting them, for reading their synopses. And let me know, are any of these books on your TBR? Have you read any of them before? Which one would you start with? Which one has you excited? And also, if you're interested in getting some merch or some bookmarks, make sure to check out my Bonfire as well as my Etsy shop. And if you like to support the channel on a monthly basis, you might want to consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon member. And I will see you in another video. Bye!
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.